Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I guess I've got to get used to doing this again. I'm here to talk to you about all the books I've read since I've been gone. The reason I've been gone is because I'm in a new house. I have no puppies with me because they're currently downstairs waiting for their dinner with my husband. But yes, I'm in a new house. I'm married. I have a new job, so I am a teacher now. And what else? I'm on a new phone. I obviously don't have a lot of any makeup on left from today on, so I'm hoping this is okay, but you guys are used to my poor quality filming. I want to talk to you about all the books I've read since I last spoke to you. That was a September wrap up, so October, November, December, January, come on. And I've been quite busy in that time, so I'm only talking to you about 22 books that I've read, but this month I've read heaps in Feb with my new job, so it's been really good. I've been so stressed that I just need to escape into books, and it means I'm reading a lot more. Whereas prior to this, I was on holidays through December and January, and you'd think I'd read more during that, but no, I have been reading more when I'm stressed because that's how I escape. My social life is suffering though, but that's okay. Anyway, let's get into it because I have so many books to talk to you about, some of which I don't have, but I'll explain why. But first, I want to talk to you about Margaret Atwood. I read The Testaments. This is going back to October, but I loved it. I thought it was great. I loved that we had so many different perspectives. I loved that we had characters that crossed over. I loved that it explained stuff. Thought it was great. I know there's a lot of controversy around this winning the Man Booker joint, but I haven't read Girl, Woman, Other yet. I plan to. It's on my shelves. But sorry, Simon, I haven't read that yet. But yes, I did love this. The next thing I read was this beautiful ARC copy of Imaginary Friend sent to me by Hachette. Imaginary Friend was good. I love Stephen Chbosky's writing. I loved the story, but it was so repetitive. Like, I can still remember how repetitive it is now. I just feel like I'm sure something went over my head. I missed something, but the ending just kept going, and I was like, okay, so it'll end now. And I'm like, but there's still 200 pages. Okay, but it'll end now. There's still 200 pages. And it just sort of kept, I just didn't really understand why we kept escaping, getting caught. So I enjoyed it. I think I gave it 3.5 stars, but yeah, there was a lot of similarities between this and Stephen King that I liked. Speaking of Stephen King, his son Joe Hill wrote an amazing book, which is not this one. I've grabbed the wrong book. I meant to grab Full Throttle. I have read Strange Weather as well, but I meant to grab his new book, Full Throttle, which was kindly sent to me by Hachette. I loved Full Throttle. I thought it was amazing. It has In the Tall Grass in it, which is a short story with Stephen King and Joe Hill that I'm pretty sure I'd read before I read the collection. I think I've read that twice now, but I loved all of Joe's stories. I just really enjoyed Full Throttle, and I know I really enjoyed this too, Strange Weather. But yeah, I really enjoyed Full Throttle. Love short stories. I love them. Like, especially horror short stories. I think that's my niche. I love Shirley Jackson. I'm currently reading Shirl, which was a recommendation by Simon Savage, which I cannot wait to talk to you guys about next month. But yeah, love horror short stories. It's really my thing. The next book I read was sent to me kindly by the author Tabitha Bird. She sent me A Lifetime of Impossible Days, and this is a new emerging Australian author. I adored this. It had one of my favorite sci-fi premises in it, and I don't want to ruin it, but I also do want to tell you that it is sci-fi, but it is almost like a literary version of sci-fi. It's kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but you're following 3 different Willas, and they all meet and get to talk to each other through a tree in the garden. And so Willa is meeting herself, I think, at age 8 years old, then at 33, and then at 94. So 8, 33, 94. And there's a very specific reason for those ages. I've never read a book where I felt the author so much. Like, it felt like the author was just pouring her heart out. Like, it almost read like I know it's impossible for something like this to happen, but it almost felt like this was happening to Tabitha Bird. Her name was Willa. She was writing this book for me to read. I really enjoyed it, so I highly recommend picking that one up. Next, I read Alice Hoffman's The World That We Knew. Now, I started this book and loved it. Loved it. Couldn't put it down for the first half. The second I did put it down, however, I put it down for like a month and a half. And then when I picked it back up again, it just wasn't the same. Like the vibe wasn't there. But I don't think it was the book's fault. I think it was my fault for putting it down and leaving it for so long and forgetting all the amazing things that happened. So this is set in a war. Where are we? 1941, so we must be in World War II. And we're a Jewish girl escaping the Nazis, and our mother fashions us a golem to protect us. So that's where this story goes. And so there's a magical element to it, obviously, with the golem, and I just really liked it. But yes, I think the reason I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars or 3 stars instead of the full 5 was my own doing and not the book's. Next, I read The Innocent Reader by Deborah Adelaide. This book was so good. It's a non-fiction book pretty much about reading and writing together. I think that's how the book is split into 3 sections, actually. Let me just double check. Yep, reading, writing, and reader and writer. I really enjoyed the reading and writer. I didn't enjoy the writer section as much, but that's because I am not one. I still enjoyed learning about the process, but I am not a writer. I don't ever plan to write. I mean, it would be great if I could write a book, but I just don't think I have the skill to do such a thing. I'm not good at putting sentences together, which makes me a pretty piss poor analyst of books, if I'm honest. So I'm always shocked to find that people are actually watching this channel or going to my Instagram, because I think I'm crap at reviewing books. I just really enjoy doing it. But anyway, this book was fantastic. I really, really love reading books about readers, books where people are discussing books. It's my life. I love it. It's my hobby. And so when it's in books, I just really enjoy it. And I really liked Deborah Adelaide's insights. And it was good that this was Australian, because I'm really enjoying reading Australian fiction. This is like 2020, because that came out in 2019. Also, I should say, this was sent to me by... Who sent this to me? I think it was Pan Mac. Simon and Schuster. And then this was sent to me by Pan Mac, maybe. Sorry. I should have checked that before. Pan Macmillan. So this was sent to me by Pan Macmillan. Yeah, anyway, I'm just really enjoying Australian fiction this year. I think 2020 is the year for it. I really do. I can't wait to read the Stella long list. I just feel like this is a really fantastic year for Australia. And Simon Savage is on the forefront of promoting all the books to me, which is fantastic, because he doesn't even live here. Speaking of Simon, a book that he got me to read that I requested from the publisher after seeing on his channel, so Hachette kindly sent this to me as well, is Unfollowed by Megan Phelps Roper. This book, I know I'm overthinking it. I know that I think about it too much, but it has changed my view on political correctness. So for those who don't know, Megan Phelps Roper was part of the Westboro Baptist Church. And look, we aren't really, in Australia, we don't really have much to do with that. It doesn't really make our news. But when they were talking about the people that used to hold up the sign saying God hates fags, and they used to picket soldiers' funerals, it sort of struck a light bulb. I sort of knew. And Louis C.K. did the, not Louis C.K., Louis Theroux did the documentary, The Most Hated Family in America, which is Megan's family, and she's in that. Anyway, this book has totally changed my view. So I know with the vote on gay marriage that Australia had last year, I was really against anybody who said no. I didn't want to hear why you were voting no. I didn't want to hear your arguments. I didn't want to talk to you. I barely wanted you in my life. I was done with anybody who voted no. Don't talk to me. If you want to keep me as a friend, don't talk to me about it, essentially. Because I just felt like, you know, us as people, like, why are we even voting on this in the first place? It's got nothing to do with us. But anyway, that's a whole other argument. But that attitude is such a poor attitude to have when you shut people down and you back them into a corner, things get really ugly. And we're starting to see the ramifications of not having those really tough discussions where I have to talk about why I feel a certain way and they have to talk to me about why they feel a certain way. Not having those discussions is dangerous. And so my whole worldview is kind of shifted to a more understanding worldview, which I think is fantastic for me as a teacher, as a new teacher too, with kids that have opinions that I can't just shut them down. We need to discuss things, and I can't make them feel poor for having a certain opinion. So I think this book is really amazing. I think everybody should pick it up. It was so interesting. I gave it 5 stars. One of my favorite books that I read last year. So then next, I read The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I predicted the ending of this book, and I did it. So many of my bookstagram friends are recommending this, saying they'll like, you'll love it, you won't predict the ending. And I'm pretty bad at predicting endings, and I found this quite obvious. And like, I didn't predict it the whole way through, don't get me wrong. I got to a certain, maybe about halfway, and then I was like, I know what's happening here. But I still really enjoyed it. I was saying that it didn't take away the enjoyment, but I think that it did, that I found it so predictable. I loved the psych elements in here. I love the psychology. There's a psychoanalyst as our main character who's trying to figure out what happened to a woman who's not talking. And yeah, she murdered her husband and stopped talking. So that's what's happened in this book. And I did enjoy it, but it's still only got 3 stars for me. I predicted the ending. I don't enjoy thrillers. I'm realizing I don't enjoy thrillers when I can predict the ending. And I'm sorry, someone's sort of soaring in their backyard if you can hear that. Another book I read was How to Do Nothing by Jenny Odell. Fantastic non-fiction book about our bombardment of advertising on the internet, and how to actually relax, and how, not even just relax, just how to not be made a fool by the new world that we live in. I think that sums this up. I think everybody should read this. Resisting the attention economy, because things are always grabbing your attention. And I found a lot of value in this book. I really enjoyed it. I should say this was sent to me by Hachette as well. And this one was sent to me by my pal, Nick the Book Panda. She is on YouTube and on Instagram. I'll link her YouTube below as well.